that should be going live. Hold on, let me just turn off my air real quick in my room so my microphone is not picking it all up. Because I know that when that happens, it sounds like I'm in the middle of an airplane. But speaking of airplane, hurricane hunters have confirmed that the eye wall has closed fully. Although there is, as you can see, there's some areas where you still got that dry air, and then of course you got these clusters of storms here, which this is currently a category 1. Tomorrow morning it's forecast to be a category 2, and this is now officially going into the Gulf of Mexico, the southeastern portion, and then of course along Florida, and is expected to now be reaching the category 4, the region of category 4 intensity. So hopefully my stream is working properly. Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm like, I hope my stream is working properly. 'Cause I wasn't sure at first if it was working properly or not. But yeah, I just kind of, because that's one thing I will say about YouTube Studio. Um, I do actually have a live cam from the southernmost point in Key West. You can kind of see waves right now kind of just crashing up on shore. Let me just get that up real quick here, if I can. So you can kind of see all the way. Oh, well, it's got buffer because for some reason YouTube likes to buffer on its internet. But kind of see all the waves kind of crashing onto shore here, onto like kind of like a deck area, I think. Kind of like the I kind of like the walkway area where the southernmost point is, and then you get two people kind of standing where they really should not be staying there, especially with how hard these waves are crashing onto land. But one thing that has been updated recently as well is the storm surge, which now in the Big Bend area, storm surge is now forecasted to be up to 15 to 20 feet worth of storm surge, which with storm surge, that amount of storm surge, that is basically very deadly and can cause a lot of damage and of course flooding. And also speaking of flooding, the areas between Georgia and also, let me just get up my graphics real quick here of what I'm talking about. This one should be it. Yeah, okay, so here, the long Big Bend area, which is where currently Hurricane Helene is kind of forecasted to kind of hit in the Big Bend area of Florida, and there is that 15 to 20 feet worth of storm surge, and then around here 10 to 15, which originally earlier today it was 10 to 15. Now it's up even higher than that. And then if we go over to the rainfall forecast, which is kind of like determining how much rainfall is going to be falling out of this as it kind of stalls here in between Georgia, South Carolina, and North and South Carolina and Georgia. So you see up to 8 or more inches of rainfall in this area, and of course you get all the about 6 or more inches of rainfall at the Big Bend area. And then, of course, with the flash flood risk with this amount of rainfall that's going to be coming out of Hurricane Helene, which in this little area here of the Big Bend area, you can see that there is a high risk of flash flooding, and same here where it is going to be kind of stalling out until it kind of moves over towards this way a little bit, which at this point it would be a tropical depression, and this is forecasted here to be kind of still a tropical storm even after it makes landfall. Then here this is the kind of surface wind field estimate currently, and you kind of see where this is kind of where Hurricane Helene's kind of almost like eye area is at currently, and also where those hurricane force winds are at, and also the tropical storm force winds, which is a very large area of wind force with Hurricane Helene. I almost call it tropical storm Helene, but is a Hurricane Helene as of this morning. and you can kind of see where this is tracking currently. So around here, which is about just about a few miles off to the west of the west portion of Florida here, is at around 1. It's supposed to be that category 4 that is being forecasted. And probably around, I would say, probably about 4 or 5 o'clock, it should be making landfall according to what is being shown here. If we go back here, so this is where that eye is right now, because you kind of see where that almost like circle is in right now. One thing I am curious of is what the water vapor is looking at right now, which may take a little while to load. We also do have 2 tornado warnings as well, which we have 2 in. Oh, this is a newer one. I'm surprised I didn't hear this tornado warning go off earlier. Because usually I hear uh, Radar Omega give me the tornado warning alert, but apparently it didn't give me that one for the specific one. But if you live in Carrington, Neals Corner, Crossroads, Watkins, the Cove, any of these areas, seek shelter now as you are under a tornado warning. Which, one thing I will say, I probably will take, when it comes to looking at the water vapor as well, besides just looking at it right Omega, I'll probably pull up the COD models as well, or COD satellite, because that kind of sometimes does a better job and it's more consistent at times than Radar Omega. Oh, there we go. Now it loaded on Radar Omega. As soon as I said something about College DuPage's site, it's like, you what? Which I do want to take a look at. So these are both tornado warnings ongoing, and this is a pretty large severe thunderstorm warning area. Not the largest I've seen, but it is a pretty large area. Now for tomorrow, in terms of, because we have the wind risk, of course, which just is going to be bringing pretty strong winds, but we also do have a tornado risk tomorrow, which, if I just turn off the alerts real quick, you kind of see this area here between Georgia and also portions of South Carolina is in that 10% risk area, which typically means we'll probably be seeing a bunch of quick spin ups throughout the day, maybe a couple tornadoes that are going to be longer lasting, like you would see with typical tornadoes. But typically with tornadoes in tropical systems, they don't typically last long. Those waves in Key West are still crashing onto shore, looks like. Where is... What was I trying to look for? Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to look for in my YouTube studio. I don't know why okay, I got that sorted now. Still see like a bunch of drier air up towards this way, which once this kind of forces out all that kind of just dry air, this should really start to intensify a lot more from going to a Category 1 all the way to that Category 4 that is currently being forecasted, which is supposed to be around 1 p.m. Central Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern. We actually got a lot more Project Mesavore areas now compared to back then, and that was definitely landing right there. See some of the rain coming off the bands. Even like though most of the portions of the hurricane is down here, you still got those outer bands that are kind of going up towards here. And even the wind too. So this is a lot more like brighter area, it looks like. This one's kind of like a black and white camera, looks like. Which this one is camera that I've seen before on Radar Omega. This one's just kind of covered with just rain. So you can barely see out of it. See anything from it. But that's mostly just probably due to the fact that this is pointing right towards where that hurricane is at. Same with here. Although you can kind of see those winds kind of just blowing. I got a notification. That's where the notification's coming from. I just had a little bit of lag just then with trying to switch between tabs. What was going on there? I have no idea. That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Let's go back to I want to go back to the where's the infrared? That's gotta take a while again to load. Which I might just switch over to COD's website here. You can kind of see where it's kind of spinning right there. That's where that eyeball basically kind of formed at right there. Center of low pressure. So this load yet? No, it did not load yet. Let me just move this a little bit here. And let me just kind of expand. Actually, I could probably just put this at the bottom, probably. I don't know how much, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to fit here. So probably put COD's model there. Yeah, that'll work. And then we can put the water vapor back on on Radar Omega. That works. That works. So you got your infrared there, and then you got your water vapor there. So you kind of see the comparison between the two, you can kind of see where the convection is at, and then you can also see the convection, and then also where the more moisture areas are and convection is at, and also the dry air is here on Radar Omega. But you can still see a little bit of areas here, along here. That's a lot of that dry air, and also kind of along here. Although most of it's going to be concentrated here. I am kind of curious. Let me switch over because there is a specific thing on satellite here that kind of focuses specifically on Hurricane Helene. I keep calling it Hurricane Helen, but it's Helene. But that's probably because it has the name Helen in it. Still seeing people go to that southernmost point in the Key West. There's one person that's like standing on like in a little ledge area, which is not safe at all, especially if one of those waves come crashing and knock them down. Also, another thing too with hurricanes too, because you can get a lot more rip currents out of this too, and also of course big waves is kind of almost kind of a given when it comes to big systems like this. When it comes to tropical systems and well hurricanes. Same thing with storm surge, but especially big like really big systems, big tropical systems get bigger storm surges and then of course waves, which I think we kind of saw that with well, tropical Debbie than Hurricane Debbie, which I watched a lot of the Key West camera, which had a bunch of people go to the southernmost point, which was interesting to watch, but at the same time, those people probably shouldn't have been kind of just there. So I'm kind of curious to see what the wind field looks like on Radar Omega here. So you can kind of see the past track here. So you get Genesis and then your Invest, which basically Invest meaning investigation. And then this is when it kind of started getting into the territory of it becoming a tropical storm. And then it got named around, looks like, then when it was at 46 miles per hour. And then, of course, it started to rapidly intensify as it was starting to, as it started getting to the Gulf here, which it's still expected to rapidly intensify as it goes through the Gulf. I think there should be. There should be a thing where I can look at the Gulf temperatures. Let me get like trying to get to something that I can show temperature, not that, not that. Okay. So I'm not gonna be able to really find it. So I'm just gonna keep that on and I'll let you guys know when I kind of just find it, I guess. You see where the kind of see also I was gonna say I want to point out something real quick. You kind of see where that area of hurricane force winds is at right now too, and also the tropical storm force winds, which 57 to 73 mile per hour wind gusts coming out of that portion there, and then of course you got where that kind of like near the eye area where the hurricane force winds are at, and that's got to be tracking towards the big Bend area of Florida. So I like how YouTube just tells me, chat disconnected. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. Successfully reconnected. So that's the first time today, at least, that's done that. Hopefully it doesn't do that a whole lot of times. Because that would be annoying. I'm gonna try to get, as I say, I want to try and get the loop going on right now. Or see if I can get that loop on Radar Omega going. Because I know I have it going on the COD site, but see if I can get it going on the Radar Omega app here. Hopefully I can. But Radar Omega is taking its sweet time right now to load. That's always great to see. Not. Meantime, I do want to take a look at recon data. Let me just load up tropical tidbits real quick. Aircraft recon, mission 13, pressure 973.5 millibars right now. So it is still strengthening and of course dropping in pressure as well. I am kind of curious to see what the last update was for this. Oh, there we go. Now I just updated with the loop on Radar Omega. So moving north at 12 miles per hour, minimum pressure 974, max sustained winds 85 at the moment. We'll probably see an update in the next probably couple hours with the next update from Hurricane Hunters, because the 7 o'clock one was the most recent one, which was about an hour and 20 minutes ago. Which if I can actually, I can't actually turn it on. So this was 5 minutes ago right here. Which looks like to be the most recent data. Which I am kind of curious if I can. So I know I should be able to click on some of this, but sometimes it doesn't want to work for some reason. That's one thing. If you guys ever get Radar Omega, it does have its flaws and bugs, but still a good app to use, or even Radar Scope for that matter as well. So I'm looking at the recon data, and down here, looks like a lot of the wind is kind of just down towards this area, and it, like this segment here, and then this segment here is where those winds are kind of at right now. From like 60 to about 83-ish mile per hour wind gusts, and portions down here being about 40, 45-ish mile per hour wind gusts out of that portion there, which just is the more outer portion here in the southeastern area of this system here. Status. They're still in the storm. It looks like to be at the moment. Although this looks like this was 5 minutes ago, so this could be just updating a lot faster right now than tropical tidbits. But typically tropical tidbits should be updating faster sometimes. But we'll wait for a few moments. I can turn this. Actually, I can turn this on here. So this is like, see this segment here where it's like about 50 to 60-ish mile per hour wind gusts, and a little bit area there that was a little bit higher in wind speed there. And then over in this segment here is like where you can really see where all those stronger winds are coming out of, with the wind gusts out of this segment here, with being 60 to 83 mile per hour wind gusts in this portion here. And of course that lower portion I was talking about earlier. Turn this back over here. See all that convection. A lot of storms kind of firing up in this portion of Hurricane Helene too, with the outer bands. I just turn that off so I can kind of see this a little bit better. There is also Hurricane John going on down here, which has made landfall quite a few times in the past couple hours. Or at least maybe like one, two, like couple, yeah, about a couple times at this point with Hurricane John making landfall at this point. We do have two areas of development, which we got this one here and this one here, which I'm not sure if there's anything quite out there yet, but I do actually want to take a look at that as well in a second here. Which with the 40% one, I mean, it looks like there is some kind of development on that one there. And then the disturbance one, the other disturbance, which there seems to be actually a lot more developed with the one disturbance one compared to disturbance two. So we could see another tropical system coming out of the disturbance one probably in the next couple of days. So I just switched over to recon data there. Let me just switch that to COD satellite there, because then I can look at everything else on my other web browser portion of my web browser here. Let me just take a look at HRRR float 1. You see that, so you can kind of see it making its way towards land here. You can see, I could see the outer bands kind of making a lot, it's very stretched out on the HRRR. So the NAM shows it a lot more nicely. Which on the NAM it does kind of show the eye wall kind of the eye kind of making landfall here just south of Tallahassee. Let's refresh real quick here. Let me just load up Tropical Tidbits again. I think I accidentally closed out Tropical Tidbits. So looks like they are exiting the hurricane area. Probably gotta make one more turn around and then they're gotta probably go back to base, and then we'll probably get that new recon data in probably next couple hours, probably next hour or two, probably around 10 o'clock ish, 10, 11 o'clock. I just switch over to where is, oh, here's a COD. So here is, let me just squeeze some things real quick. So here's the HRRR, what it's showing right here. You can kind of see where it makes that landfall in the Big Bend area, just south of Tallahassee. And this is about around 6 o'clock, 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow, where it's forecasted to make landfall. Then if we go over to the NAM, kind of see it making landfall about a couple hours after 6, 7 o'clock. And then it kind of dies out into a tropical storm as it goes over land. Probably can possibly see a bunch of, maybe we could probably see maybe some spin-ups of these from the southeastern portion here after this makes landfall. Which I am curious. Let me just switch over to float 2 real quick. So this is kind of when it's still kind of tropical storm as what's being forecasted. And then and then it kind of splits apart. And you still got the area of low pressure there. But then we also had 10% tornado risk for tomorrow, which is probably gonna come out of these if those do kind of form as this makes after it makes landfall tomorrow, and it kind of turns into these like kind of scattered storms and showers. I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And one thing as I was going to get water, one thing I am kind of curious of is what the model guidance looks like right now in terms of Hurricane Helene. Go to 18Z. So there are now models that are kind of taking us more towards a low or just around a Category 4 hurricane, which is what it basically is forecasted to be around 1 o'clock Central Time tomorrow. Oh. So that's one thing I almost kind of forgot about too on Radar Omega, which I think also kind of shows on the the National Hurricane Center site too, with wind speed probabilities, which with tropical storm you can kind of see that like large pocket of tropical storm force winds in this area here, going all the way up to like Georgia and portions. Yeah, a lot actually, quite a bit of portions of Georgia actually, and of course Florida, of course, and 50 knots, which is that kind of like bridge between tropical and hurricane force winds, and then you see that hurricane force winds, which is a very slim area. But even with a kind of like a slim area like this, you still can get a large area that has strong winds with hurricane force winds. Because of course, wind is not gonna be just focused to this little area that's being drawn out, of course. And we have another tornado. We have a couple more tornado warnings that I am not hearing for some reason with the alerts. I don't know why. This one's gonna be expired out in the next 9 minutes. Same thing with this one down here. Both these are gonna expire out in the next 9 minutes. I say I am a little bit curious. Let me just switch over. What's gonna be the nearest radar for this? Because there is a pretty big radar hole in Virginia, which I'm kind of surprised there's not one near Richmond. Which I mean, well, there is kind of one right here near Richmond, but even then, there needs to be like one like up here probably. That'd be nice to have a radar somewhere here, because then you wouldn't have radar hole issues. Which I actually might as well just load up. I may just load up GR2 analysis for that, because GR2 analysis is gonna be a lot better in terms of loading up data compared to Radar Omega right now. So unfortunately, even on GR2 analysis is kind of in a split area between the two radars right now, which does not help at all. And also doesn't help as well that the terrain in Virginia is not flat. Which I think a lot of the East Coast, when it comes to covering severe weather in this like area, kind of has that issue, unfortunately. Whoa, how far back did my GR2 analysis go? Holy. Okay, when I wanted to download previous data, I did not mean to go like 9 years back, GR2. Jeez. It kind of helps though, because then I can kind of take a look where the rotations were warned at. So, rotation, the one tornado warning that was over between Marion and rural Virginia. I don't know why I can't say Atkinson's. I just have it. I have I don't know if that's just because of the way it's spelled or what, but yeah. And then the other one, which was near Crystal Hill. So a lot of these are kind of like going northward, which makes me wonder how much. I wonder how much of this is coming off of Hurricane Helene right now. Because I have a feeling it might be quite a bit that's coming off Hurricane Helene if it's going in that motion. Which for tomorrow, I think GR2 analysis is gonna be my saving grace, so to speak. Because it's gonna be a lot faster than Radar Omega, which actually I'll probably just use Radar Omega for the hurricane stuff and then GR2 analysis for everything else in terms of severe weather. Not that I probably couldn't use Radar Omega during tomorrow, but GR2 analysis is probably gonna be my best bet for anything. My shoulder just made. I hate when my shoulder does that. Makes me think my arm is falling apart. So got another 4 minutes on the 20 warning. I was over Appomattox, Virginia. Ow. Got a bunch of flash flood warnings, which a lot of them are in, well, actually quite a few of them are in Georgia and North Carolina, we are seeing a lot of precipitation kind of falling in those areas right now. So kind of expected. So I think this is still trying to fight off that dry air that's still there. Once it gets rid of that dry air, it should start to intensify a lot more. The eye is right there though. Let me just go back to, because this is what we're looking at right now on Radar Omega. This one's a little bit easier to see a little bit compared to this, I guess, because there's not like all these graphics on this side that's in a way. But you see where the kind of where the dry air areas of dry air are at in this system here. A little bit drier air there than this upper level. A lot more moist in the upper level compared to the lower level. And we have a tornado warning, which is in Charlotte, Virginia. Which I think is one of the more major areas, it seems, with this specific area. But this is going to be for Harrisburg, Chandler's Fork, Aspinwall, Aspen, Phoenix, Vincent Corner, Rough Creek, Taro, Cullen, Madisonville, and Red House. Let me just load up GR2 analysis real quick. Take a look at this. It picked the farthest radar known to man. Let me just switch over to DR2 analysis real quick here on the radar. This is what we're looking at right here on our radar, which is near Charlotte, just to the west of Charlotte in Virginia here. See where that rotation particularly is. It's a little bit squished with all the different colors and stuff, but that rotation is gonna be in here. I think there's gonna be another thing that I need to kind of downsize as well. So if anything kind of severe happens on any of these storms in like Virginia, I can keep it kind of like a tab on it and the radar here. I probably put just below here. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Although my screen's kind of starting to get a little bit crowded here though. That's the only problem. I just close that out. Let me just kind of move this over to here. Not the greatest view on this one, but it'll have to do, unfortunately. Well, I still have some space on the right side of my screen here. That'll work. I'll go to DR2 analysis here. Because let me just go to this one here, see what this is even seeing. Because that is like, I mean, it's a better view of, well, kind of a better view of the tornado warning area. But not really at the same time. This goes for 26 minutes. So yeah, it's has a little bit of issues with contamination on GR2. And that would be, yeah, it's all in Virginia, which is just, I don't know how many miles that is from. That is not the right tool. This is the right tool. So that's about 70-ish miles out of, that's about 70-ish miles southwest of Richmond in Virginia there. So I forgot the White Sox were playing today. How are they doing? Surprise! I was gonna say surprisingly not bad, but as soon as I say that, they're gonna immediately screw up the game. See if we got any new recon data. If anything, let's see. So they are making a third turn. So they're gonna make that third segment over in this portion of the hurricane here of Hurricane Helene here. Let me just kind of switch that over. Let me just hold on. Give me a second. Long way. All right. Let me just switch that to this. Did I switch it? Okay, got it. Cool. All right. So this is the recon data. So they're kind of going around again. You're gonna see where that even more stronger winds coming out of this portion of the hurricane here, which is that northeastern portion of the storm, which is where a lot of that activity's got to be at in terms of wind. And then once this makes landfall, anything severe is probably gonna be in this portion here, or like any of these portions here is where that severe weather's gonna probably be ending up when it comes to that tornado risk for tomorrow, which tomorrow has that 10% tornado risk. I do want to take a look at pivotal weather as well, see what the significant parameters are for tomorrow as well. Let's see if this can. Okay, let's see here. Bulk shear. Where is the significant tornado parameter? Okay, there we go. I need to zoom this out because for some reason, when it comes to pivotal weather, it is always like really zoomed in, and I don't know why. But so I see through tomorrow, kind of see those significant tornado parameters kind of go up as this starts making a landfall. And kind of see that. Let me kind of. Where is I wish I once again. I wish I had a third monitor on me right now. But all right, here is. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. So this is kind of like almost kind of like now. Zeros. Well, this is from 00, so it's around from 6 o'clock. So is there anything outside of this bell? It's 17Z. So this is. So some of this could be pretty old. terms of data right now. Let me see if what the I know this is the latest run right now. So as this kind of, let me zoom out again, so you can kind of see as this kind of starts making landfall here. See where that hurricane is at right there, and this is as it starts making landfall. You can kind of see those significant tornado parameters kind of go up right there along the coast of Florida here, and up like the Panhandle. Well, not the Panhandle, but I don't remember what this portion of Florida is called, but you can see those significant tornado parameters, and then they kind of go off to the coast here, which even if it shows these out here, you still can see like water spout, like some spin ups come in through land, and also multiple water spouts come out of this, and then after that, it's kind of just done. Still monitoring that tornado warning that is over in Virginia, which that rotation is most likely right in there. A little bit far with basically almost every radar in this area. The next nearest radar would be here and also down here in North Carolina, which a lot of these are we're kind of in a radar hole in this area here for any kind of coverage with radars, which is unfortunate because it makes it hard to kind of tell where everything is at, but typically when it comes to kind of color mixing, you can kind of tell where any type of rotation is at if you kind of see colors like that. Also looks like from that center area, well, they're still going uh, through the middle again. So it looks like the lowest it looks like it went down to is 973. So this is still dropping pressure and increasing in strength. It looks like, which is to be expected with this hurricane as it's developing. If it, anything updated on the website for National Hurricane Center. Nothing quite yet. Still has the update from 7 o'clock, which is almost in about almost 2 hours ago at this point, which was the last update was 974 millibars with 85 max sustained winds. So definitely could see that going up as this intensifies throughout tonight. Check up on that tornado warning. Still got another 19 minutes and that tornado warning over in Virginia. Just take a look back at the radar here. Still got a little bit of mix of colors here, but nothing significant that I can really see. Still got a bunch of flash flood warnings, which a lot of these are still going on for, well, flash flood warnings do go on for a long while compared to severe thunderstorm warnings, which I think the longest I've seen a severe thunderstorm warning go for was like an hour and five, which I think, I can't remember if that was during when Nebraska had their biggest storm or that was when we had that derecho back over in the Midwest in on July 15th. I can't remember which day it was. I think it was both. It could have actually been both, actually. Because I know the two events were both really big events, which the Nebraska one, I mean, it was a large, pretty big system, and it was going on for a while, which it could have technically been a derecho, but it kind of started it because with a derecho it needs I think more than 200 miles covered along land for it to be considered a derecho, and then of course wind and whatnot. And that would be another tornado warning, which I'm not too sure where that one's gonna be at. Let me take a look, because it's gonna take a little bit to update on radar here, which we'll see in the next. With the GR2, we'll see in the next, like, probably. Okay, there we go. This one's gonna be in North Carolina, surprisingly. Which, even then, it's still not showing. Okay, there we go. Now it's showing. Yeah, this one's basically along the border of, it's like Tennessee and North Carolina here. So if you live in Blowing Rock, Boone, Valley Crucis, Seven Devils, and well, who else is in this area? There's actually quite a few towns, it looks like, in this area. If you live in any of these areas, seek shelter now as you are under a tornado warning. Let's see if we can, because I may have to just switch over to Radio Omega, which will take a while to load everything with radar, which with Radar Omega may show it a little bit better, possibly. Which this area is actually a kind of a bigger area of a radar hole, so we may not be able to actually see this at all. I'm just gonna give that a few moments to kind of just load, because right now it's taking its sweet time to load. So this is kind of why I use GR2 analysis, because GR2 analysis is a little bit faster right now in terms of actually looking at radar, and also GR2 analysis and Radar Omega have completely different coding and whatnot, which GR2 analysis is gonna be a lot faster. That's probably because it's not Chrome based, which I think Chromium based, which I think Radar Omega is Chromium based, if I remember correctly. See if we can see it from the. Which radar is this? KMRX. I think that's Morristown, National Weather Service, Morristown. We'll have to see if we can see anything from there. If anything. Oh, there we go. May have to look at this from some relative velocity. So if there is any rotation, it's gonna be really difficult to tell. It might be down here somewhere. Because this is the one thing about having storms that are kind of far away from the radar, or multiple radars, is that if there's a radar hole, it's difficult to tell exactly where, especially for rotation and storms like this tornado warning storm here. Although the rotation on this doesn't seem to be too strong at all, which a lot of these have been just tornado warned with weaker rotation or weak rotation in general. Let's go back to Hurricane Lane satellite view on Radar Omega. And as I take a look at this on GR2 analysis here, do we got any updates quite yet? I don't think we do. Not yet. Still waiting on see if we can. Okay, so Hurricane Hunter's still completing one leg that's kind of going along through here. And get my drawing tool out, so it's going kind of going along here. If I can actually turn on the Hurricane Hunters real quick here on. Yeah, there we go. This is who's this? This is I think this is from a while ago at this point from the Hurricane Hunters that were coming out of the Alabama Air Force Base. And then this is the one that's coming out of, I think this is Tampa's. Either Miami's or Tampa's Hurricane Hunters. But this is kind of where their hurricanes kind of at, so they're kind of going through there at the moment. Light level, direction. You kind of see like the wind data. Of course, it's going to be the lowest right where that eye is at, because there's nothing that really goes on within an eye of a hurricane, so. I'll probably be alive for another hour, probably, or until we get that next update, probably. Still got that peak surge in the Big Bend area, 15 to 20 feet of storm surge, and 10 to 15 feet outside of that. And of course, along the areas here, it's much lower. Still could see really high. Still storm surge that can be really, of course, high waves and whatnot, and also flooding that can come from the storm surge. Which I am kind of curious. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go to the Key West camera real quick here. Okay, there we go. Key West. Let me just get that up real quick, everybody. All right. Where is it? There we go. That's so. Hold on. Let me just kind of out of frame, and we got people, of course, taking pictures at the place, which they really should not be that close or even there, especially with how dangerous waves that big can be. But you can kind of see where those big waves are kind of crashing along the kind of like uh, kind of coast area here and Key West, where that southernmost point is at. Let me go back to that is okay. There's the storm surge that I was talking about earlier. Kind of see along Big Bend where the 15 to 20 feet of storm surge is at. I have two YouTube notifications. Weather Track US and Max Velocity. They're both live. So this is okay. No, that's my YouTube studio is kind of make me. It's kind of tripping me out for some reason. I don't know why. They're kind of okay. They're starting to get close to the eye area now with the Hurricane Hunters mission, recon mission here. You can kind of see this outer band here. Pretty strong winds coming out of this portion here. Still got areas where you got that dry air at, which is like here and along a little bit of stuff here, of course. And then we also got this down here, although this shouldn't really affect it as much as this is now closed, as the eyeball is basically now closed. So we should be seeing an update soon from Hurricane Hunters, which will probably be in the next hour, probably. So we got 6 minutes on the tornado warning in Charlotte, VA, in Virginia. And we got 21 minutes still on the one in North Carolina, which I want to take a look back at the one that's going on in North Carolina. Still pretty difficult to tell exactly where that rotation is at, just due to how far we are from the radar. Well, I wonder if this will be any better. Not really. Unfortunately. Oh, hey, the real fan for Oklahoma City is, well, of course, is online. Say yesterday, I think it was. They had a pretty big hailstorm going on down that way. Right. It's still being forecast to be a Category 2 at around 1 in the morning Central Time. Still got a bunch of tropical storm warnings, of course, and then of course that hurricane warnings that are here in Georgia and Florida, of course. Then everything else is kind of just tropical storm warning. You can kind of see where this will kind of just stall out and then die out, of course, as well. So where are we at right now in terms of hurricane hunters? So still making their way, it looks like, as of now, towards the eye area, which is literally like right here. I just saw an update. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that's just the projected track just glitching out a little bit. I think it was. Yeah, it was. Okay. I swear, Radar Omega has some weird glitches, man. 973, 975. It was about a couple minutes ago. So it's still dropping pressure and is increasing in strength. So we'll have to see what the next update is. It looks like this probably be now down to a 973 in terms of pressure for the Hurricane Helene here. And now they're making another kind of sector here for their recon mission here. You see this portion of the hurricane to see what kind of winds are coming out of that portion there, which looks like here and also here, or at least here and here, there seems to be a lot more stronger winds coming out of it. Here, I mean, there's strong winds coming out, but it's not as consistent over. It's not as consistent as over here in terms of the stronger winds, which typically you're gonna get the strong winds in this sector anyways. Let's check up on that tornado warning. Still got another 13 minutes on this tornado warning. Still a little bit difficult to tell where exactly that rotation is, just due to the fact of how far we are from this. Well, just due to the fact how far this radar is from this portion of the like this area here. Which would be nice if there was a radar here, because I mean there's a terminal there, but where because the terminal radars are typically for airports, which you can use terminal radars, but terminal radars are typically going to be for shorter range. Typically, you're gonna want to use the official, of course, the actual like radar, like the actual radar and like actual offices of the rate where the radars are at. Still got the tornado warning continuing, of course, as we're taking a look at it. Got refresh. So they're making another round here, as we could see. So of course we got a bunch of flash flood warnings, of course. 437. There's two severe thunderstorm warnings, but they're in Canada. Still being forecasted to be around Category 2 tomorrow morning. Very early tomorrow morning, actually. So I wonder what the wind field looks like. I know we got this on Radar Omega, but I do wonder what the like actual wind field looks like on this right now. If I could find an image of it, that'd be great. Hopefully I can find something, because then I can actually show you what the wind field actually looks like compared to this. Actually, hold on. So I think wind history. All right, there we go. That's, I think, kind of what I've been looking for here. I'll just kind of switch over to this. So this is kind of like the wind field right here, which is, you see that there's that tropical storm force winds, and then you got the hurricane force winds right here. Took another 7 minutes on that tornado warning, which I think at this point is just probably gonna expire out at this point, because there doesn't seem to be anything really there. And then we'll be back down to no tornado warnings, and we'll be mostly focusing on well, as we've been focusing mostly already on the stream with Hurricane Helene at the moment. Oh, we actually do have the other hurricane hunters that were going through this as well. Looks like they went through a bunch of times. So it looks like this may be the data we get at around probably 10 o'clock ish. And then we got this one that's going on from Tampa. This one's coming from Holiday, Alabama. So this one, so they are coming back. It looks like. So we probably get the data from these hurricane hunters that came out of Alabama first before the ones from Tampa. And these guys would probably be the 10 o'clock update probably. Panama City, Florida checking in. I gotta remember where exactly where that is. Uh, oh, that's right here. As I was looking at it, it was like right in front of my face. Still got a little whiles away at the moment. With but it is expected Hurricane Helene is expected to make landfall tomorrow in the afternoon evening hours. I could hit this Cat 5. I was gonna say I know there is I think was it 2022 that there was Hurricane Ian as well. I wonder if I could probably find Ian hit the same spot Helene is going. I was gonna say I was gonna say I've called Helene Helen multiple times today. It's not even like funny. Okay, that's a little bit funny, but it's probably because Helene and Helen have like it's like what you got if you take off the E and then it's Helen. So you know what? Know what? Hurricane Helene's getting the nickname of Helen. They should have named it Harry. I say that would be an interesting name for the well. Actually, a less confused. That would probably be a less I wouldn't well not confusing name, but probably less likely to screw up the name when trying to speak of it. I guess I don't know because when you got Helene compared to Helen, Hurricane Hades, Hector. I was gonna say I don't know why, but I feel like there was a Hurricane Hector at one point. Oh, there was. Apparently, southeast of Hawaii on August 6th. That was in 2018. I feel old. That in 2018 wasn't even technically that long ago. I feel old. That was like 6 ish years ago at this point, I think. Yeah, 6 years ago was 2018. Holy, time flies. Rain is starting to. I was gonna say, let me switch because I have GR2 analysis on the side here that I've been looking at because GR2 analysis is basically like a fancier radar app basically. Which I've been just kind of just been using for Radar, because Radar Omega is kind of slow on his internet for some reason. I don't know why, but it just is. But yeah, you kind of see where that rain is at right there. Actually, this is the closer radar here to Panama. So you can kind of see like a little bit, you can see the kind of like, well, let me just download previous scans here. So you can kind of see where that rain is starting to come in there. A couple of flash flood warnings, which are going on for a long, like couple hours, looks like. Especially this one. This one's going on for almost 3 hours. This one's still going on for another hour. This one as well. I really need to start drinking more water during these streams. Especially tomorrow. Tomorrow, I think is definitely gonna be my longest streams. One of my longest streams I've done in a while. Especially if once it starts making like before and during and then after landfall. Which I can't remember what my longest stream was before and before this stream and the stream I did before, because the stream I did this morning was only like an hour-ish long. Let me take a look. So my last longest stream I've done in a month was like 3 hours. And then before that would have been almost basically like 7 hour stream, which is when the Midwest was having severe weather as well. West. Well, it is making a northward motion, but I think it still should kind of stay to this portion here. Although unless it did kind of change a little bit in path with the track, projected track, but if it did change, it's like very very slightly. That's like barely hard. It's hardly able to be like tell with eyes. Because I think this before this like a center probably. Let me just. I probably get like my ruler out or like a micrometer and just put that on my screen. Tell how much it's moved just through graphics. Update should be coming soon. Let's just say because I've been waiting a little bit for the next update, which it should be coming in the next like few minutes. Because the Alabama, the one for the Hurricane Hunter is coming out of Alabama. I thought we're like already out there and done, and they were the 7 o'clock one, but apparently not. So hopefully we'll see. We'll hopefully see what this is the kind of pressure is at right now, which I think it's gone down by millbar at this point. Because I was looking at the recon, and it looks like it's gone down by like 1. But that's from the data coming from the Hurricane Hunters like coming out of Tampa. But we'll see in the next couple minutes. See what's changed if anything. Ah, just drinking some water. Always good to drink water. Stay hydrated. So my second mire right now is a complete mess. I think we're starting to get a little bit of dry air in the mix. So just give this a little bit of few moments here to kind of load, because like I was saying earlier, with Radar Omega kind of just being a little bit slow. Which actually, the COD one kind of the COD like satellite image I have going right now down there. So you kind of see where that dry air is kind of a little bit of filtering in of that drier air, which I will be a little bit surprised if they still do kind of forecast to be this a category 4, or if it's gonna be a category 4, it'll probably be low end. So I don't know if the model guidance has changed at all. Probably hasn't really changed much. Yeah, it hasn't changed much. Oh, there we go. I finally found a tab for my YouTube studio. Yay! And watch as I like lose it like 2 minutes later. Let me turn off Hurricane Hunter so I can actually see what's going on here. Yeah, there's definitely some drier air that's starting to filter in from the southeastern portion of the hurricane here. You kind of see where it's not as moist in water vapor there. Let me just turn back on Hurricane Hunters. So I just saw a video on Twitter as well from Hurricane Ian when it was category 4 bringing 15-foot storm surge, which Hurricane Helene is kind of forecast to have 15 to 20 foot worth of storm surge, which is honestly just crazy seeing that kind of number. This is definitely the strongest hurricane that we've seen in a while, though, for sure. Probably the strongest that we've seen since Beryl, because I know Beryl was a pretty strong hurricane. Although I don't think it was quite as like it wasn't quite like what Helene's doing right now. So looking at because this one I was looking at right now, it looks like that center 972, 973, 975, 975. So it looks like the lowest it's gone is about 972, 973. I was gonna say because that's where that eye is at. It's almost like a pinhole right there. I just turned these back on real quick. It's still forecasted to be Category 4 tomorrow in the early afternoon hours. So I just saw something update. I don't know what I just saw update. Oh, that was just a Sally updating. Okay. I'm like, what just updated? I swear, every time something updates, I'm like, okay, what just updated? But the updates is like so slim in like the difference. It's like, all right, let's try to compare frames. So it looks like it's moved a little bit, it looks like. So I'm kind of curious. Where's pivotal weather? GFS. I swear, wanna know how weird the GFS can be? It literally has like, I mean, not that you should go that far out anyways on the GFS, but like 100 hours out shows like another like almost like tropical system. Actually, like two of them, two, three of them. What's going on here, GFS? Sir, GFS is gotta be the weirdest model run when it comes to going out more than like at least like 60 hours. So we should see a update in a second here from Hurricane Hunters. Because we're still on the 7 o'clock update. So every time when it comes to like waiting for like hurricane recon data to be updated, it's like I feel like I gotta put on like Jeopardy music. I mean, obviously it's gotta take a little while because I mean they're overseas and there's I mean not exactly gonna be the world's best data upload speed of all time, but so yeah that okay. I'm kind of looking at the IR on a COD here. Yeah, that's definitely trying to kind of tighten up there to create that eye hole, which it looks to be a lot better than it looked like earlier. Because I think it's definitely starting to get rid of that drier air that's kind of been bugging it. Hmm. Okay, so I just found something. Hold on. Let me just get my screen sorted out for a second here. Holy. All right, so this is from Cyclonic WX. You can see where the eye is at right there, and of course the outer areas. Same thing with this. And you see the pockets of like stronger winds here, here, and here. So once we get the hurricane update in a second here, still waiting on the data to come in so we can get a look at how much the pressure has dropped and whatnot. So where and what is my okay? That was a little bit weird. So I'm looking at hold on, let me just switch over to I know this is right here, but you can I want to give it a bigger picture here. Actually, let me go to clean LWIR and kind of see where hold on, it's go loading. Kind of see where it's kind of strengthening right there. See where the eyeball kind of formed and it's kind of going and then you can kind of strengthening right there. Still waiting on update from the Hurricane Hunters. Special tropical weather outlook. But that's probably for what's out in the Atlantic. See, also I was gonna say another thing I want to point out on the long wave area. You can see these outer bands up here, kind of bringing rain to the portions up here. Which not only is this rain gonna cause some issues for flooding. And then once we get this landfall of this hurricane, it's gonna bringing that storm surge, which is forecast to still forecast to be 15 to 20 feet of storm surge. Still waiting on the update from hurricane hunters. Let's take a look at the cameras, the Meso work cameras. Like, who's live right now? I see green. Might be Brandon. Yeah, Brandon. Following Vince. They're all going to Tallahassee, which is where a lot of the impacts are supposed to be at. Let's see if anything's changed in the model guidance. Nothing changed still on model guidance. Still, a lot of these models are from 18 to Z, still taking it to a low end or about a near at a category 4A or just a low, just like a low end category 4. But I don't know. We'll have to see in the next couple hours. See what kind of changes, if anything. Okay, Hurricane Hunters is starting to make their way out of the band, these like outer bands of Hurricane Helene. I keep calling it Helen's Helene. Oh. So I think we're starting to see some. So I'm just looking a lot closer here. It's definitely more convection that's starting to make its way into the drier areas. So I think that now this Hurricane Helene is now starting to kind of close off those drier areas. Okay, we do now have a update from Hurricane Hunters as of the 10 o'clock update. It is now down to 972 millibars. Still has max sustained winds of 85 mile per hour, and is moving north at 9 miles per hour compared to the 10 miles per hour that we had. See what else they have for messages on Hurricane Helene here. Helene expected to bring catastrophic winds and storm surges to the northeastern Gulf Coast, which is going to be that Big Bend area that I was talking about earlier. Preparations to protect life property should be rushed to completion. So yeah, it's still so 1 mile per hour less in like movement speed, but it's moving slowly, but it's still making its way towards the northeast, towards the Big Bend area. Although this is moving north compared to northeast at the moment. Let's see if the rainfall totals have changed at all. I think they've changed a little bit. Between the area like northeastern Georgia and then western North Carolina and then west southwest North Carolina still has rainfall totals of 8 or more inches of rain. But not flash flooding potential still basically the same. Warning cones still the same, although now it's kind of I think it's gonna change a little bit where it's like at 1 p.m. Saturday now instead of Friday, and then at the end there. Key messages 4 p.m. This is still this was like hours ago at that point. Storm surge still forecast to be 15 to 20 feet along these areas here in the Big Bend, and then a little bit of the areas forecasted like along here, and then like Apalachicola, Indian Pass, along those areas looks like 35 feet. It looks to be about a storm surge. So I literally just like turned. I just like turned my like entire head to look at the numbers. I don't know why. So okay, looking at current storms. 18Z. Still nothing changed on the 18Z because a lot of these are not. The model guidance is probably not gonna be changed till tomorrow morning, probably. Let's see. Let's see. Tropical Storm John is still there. Also, Disturbance 2 is now at an 80%. I was gonna say, I think at this point we're probably gonna see more rapid intensification with Hurricane Helene here. So I think this has moved up a little bit. So this has definitely changed. So this is making at landfall it looks to be Category 4 landfall. And then tomorrow morning still this is still for tomorrow morning. Originally as of 1 a.m. Now this is at 7 a.m. Forecast time at around 7 a.m. Central Time with being with Hurricane Helene being Category 2. Which I guess we'll see tomorrow morning how much has changed from then. And then tomorrow I'll probably be ending up streaming sometime in the afternoon. I don't know when yet, but probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon Central Time, probably. I do want to take a look at the wind probabilities. Still got that corridor of strong hurricane force winds here. And then still got a large corridor of 50 knot wind there. And 34. Still got a very large area there. Let me just change. Oh, there we go. Now that actually is now changed. So this may have just went a little bit more west actually for the projected track compared to a little bit more east. So yeah, this is making that looks like to be just is forecasted with the track path to be making Category 4 landfall. So good Brandon Kopic is here. I don't know if Vince Waltey's in the same place or what. I don't know where he went to. But it does look like he turned off his Radar Omega uh kind of tracker. Yeah, I think it's safe to say at this point this is definitely gonna start rapidly intensifying throughout tonight into tomorrow morning, and then of course making that landfall tomorrow as well. See if they did get any updates on the severe weather outlook, because I know there was that earlier today. Still basically in the same kind of area. Nothing's really changed with the severe weather outlook. But yeah, I'm just gonna give a quick rundown real quick, and just take a little bit of time to just look at this still, of course, and then I'll just end the stream for tonight, and I'll be streaming tomorrow afternoon, most likely. So, let me just kind of get everything together here real quick. Stars. So hopefully I can find it. Is it? Yeah, is it? Okay. So as you can see here, let me actually just kind of make this a little bit bigger to see, because that way it'll help visually with what we're looking at currently. So let's see, Big Bend area, 15 to 20 feet forecasted with the storm surge, and then from Swanee River all the way down to Chesapeake, 10 to 15. Carabel to Apalachicola, although I don't know if that's exactly where Apalachicola is. But 10 to 15 feet, 6 to 10, 6 to 10, and then along here, all the way from Anaclote River all the way down to Flamingo is going to be less than that 15 feet, 15, 20 feet of storm surge. And of course, where the Florida Keys are right now, where this, which I mean, Hurricane Helene is kind of impacting right now. I'll have to find where the Key West camera is at the moment. Or I'll have to find where that camera is on YouTube. Or I know, well, I can search it up, but I'll have to find it and then put it on a stream here. And then this did update. Still got this corridor here that still has the 8 or more inches of rain accumulated. And then this hasn't changed much at all. Still got these pockets of areas here between what we just looked at with the area that is going to be accumulating a lot of rain. And then, of course, once Helene makes that landfall, high risk of excessive rainfall. And everywhere else is kind of almost like the entire state of Georgia is in that moderate. So this is going to be a system that's going to be bringing a lot of rain and, of course, wind. And then this, of course, has changed as of 10 p.m. So that's kind of where the hurricane force winds are. And then, of course, the tropical storm force winds. And, of course, you get your tropical storm warnings. And then, of course, hurricane warnings. So, yeah. Let me just take a second and find the Key West camera real quick. And then we'll close out the stream for tonight. And it is exactly right on the front page of YouTube. So you can kind of see those kind of waves kind of crashing. Although it's very blurry right now. Then it's at the max quality this can possibly be at. But yeah, you can see those really big waves kind of crashing onto shore here. This is kind of what we kind of saw with the Key West camera when Debbie was kind of coming through. But yeah, that will be all for tonight. Like, subscribe, make sure the bell notification is on so you get notifications. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one.